Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to us. It's DLLS's second birthday, second anniversary, second workiversary, whatever they were just talking about on the Mavs show. We've been around for 2 years, and we're looking forward to many, many more, including this very program, the DLS Rangers podcast, coming up next. All right, gang, there you saw it. Game time, presenting the DLS Rangers podcast today. We are here live at the DLLS Sports Studios in downtown Dallas. I'm Jeff. Elijah the Prophet is in the house today, making the show look good. Things have gotten quiet here now that the Mavs show was over. They were having they were celebrating our birthday. They might have involved drinks. I'm not sure, but it was loud. A little quieter here on the Rangers set, which is cool. But yeah, guess we don't have as much positive stuff to talk about, or the last thing we have to talk about, the most recent thing, is a bit of a downer. But the Rangers are 1-1 so far in the series in Chicago, splitting the first 2 games, and we will get into those in a minute. But first, it's time for just the facts. Not a lot of news, which is extremely weird for this team. So prepare for the dam to break at some point. Anyway, the biggest news is Jack Leiter. He's going to make a rehab appearance, his third. I think it's going to be Thursday at Round Rock, and this is going to be a little bit different. He's going to be working out of the bullpen. It will be multiple innings, Skip Schumacher told reporters yesterday. And the Rangers are really thinking about using him as a reliever once he's healthy. Chris Young on his radio show Monday said that this will be it for Leiter on rehab unless it's a complete and utter disaster. And assuming he feels good, he could be activated soon. I would guess they would wait until the team gets home before they activate him. A bullpen role, maybe they could do it Sunday, depending on how many innings he throws Thursday. But I'm thinking Monday will be the day when Jack Leiter is activated. There are 2 openings on the 40-man, so they don't have to make a 40-man move. They will have to make an active roster move when he comes back. I like this, and I don't like it. I think he should continue to be built up as a starter because you never know. You never know when somebody might go down and you might need a starter. And if Jack Leiter's healthy, he can be a pretty good starter. On the other hand, and I mentioned this a couple weeks ago when talking to Skip Schumacher, the Rangers do not have a right-handed reliever, or any reliever for that matter, in the bullpen who can throw it 100 miles per hour and do it over multiple innings. That would be a nice little feather to have in your cap, a nice little ace to have in the hole, whatever you want to call it, whatever cliche you can come up with. That wouldn't be bad. Question, though, how quickly could he bounce back? Could he throw 2 innings on Tuesday and do it again on Friday? I don't know. So obviously they've thought this out a lot more than I have. So I'm sure that they're feel good if this is the route they take. They haven't decided on it yet. Skip Schumacher said it's 50-50, so a coin flip. But again, the way the rotation is going, it's going pretty well last night, notwithstanding. So I don't know if you want to try to fix something that isn't broken. Really, there's only one other transactional move. Jared Kelenic, the outfielder, he cleared waivers and he took his free agency rather than accepting outright assignment to AAA Round Rock. Not the first time that's happened to him this year. So don't be surprised if he and the Rangers come to an agreement on a minor league deal. One other thing, I didn't have a spot for it in the rundown really that fit, so we'll just do it here. Jock Peterson, He was back Tuesday. He was ejected Monday night by the plate umpire and the crew chief, Chris Guccione, who spoke to a pool reporter afterward. That's how it happens. If you need comment from an umpire, the writers all get together in the press box and they send down one reporter, the pool reporter. So he shares all the quotes he gets with the rest of the group. I've never done it before. The morning news always seems to jump at the chance to talk to the umpires. Whatever. Anyway, the issue that got Peterson ejected, Guccione said that he heard Peterson banging his bat around in the dugout, and so that's what got him ejected. But it stemmed from Peterson at bat where he wanted to challenge a pitch, and Guccione didn't let him do it. And if you read Guccione's quotes, he thought Peterson was joking when he asked for the appeal. And then Guccione said, "Well, I always give guys appeals. I'd never deny an appeal. So unless he thinks you're joking." So Chris Guccione needs to clean it up. Anyway, it didn't affect Monday's outcome. And with a left turn on the mound, Peterson did not start the game. So I don't know. It's just going to cost Jock some money out of his pocket, I guess. All right. To the field we go. The Rangers won Monday rather impressively, 11-2. And then they lost Tuesday rather impressively, 11-7. All right, Monday's win. The offense got going early with 2 runs in the first, one on a Zeke Duran fielder's choice, which, and this is critical, he beat out the double play. They tried to turn 2. He beat it out. He lollygags down to first, inning over. Evan Carter doesn't bat and collect his RBI double. So 2-0. Kumar Rocker takes the mound, 1 on, 2 outs. Throws a pitch to Andrew Benintendi, who hits it. It's going to go over the fence. And guess what? Brandon Nimmo, I'm sure you've seen it, jumped up, grabbed the ball, robbed the home run, landed, punched the ground, fired up, and it changed the game. It changed the course of the game. Who knows what's going to happen if it's 2-2 after the first inning instead of 2-0. Rangers go in quick, score a run on a Zeke Duran, again, RBI single. But then the White Sox got 2 back. Tristan Peters, the all-star, he homered. The Rangers kept going, though. They scored 2 in the third on a Corey Seager double, his first of 2 doubles and 3 hits on the game. But then the White Sox right away threatened in third, and here's another turning point. Bases loaded, 1 out against Kumar Rocker, but he got Colson Montgomery and Chase Medroff. I think it's Medroff. Whatever. Chased, actually, out of the zone on a 3-2 pitch. Missed it. Strikeout. End of the threat. End of the inning. 5-2 lead. And the Rangers and Rocker took off from there. Seager doubled in 2 more in the 5th. Jake Berger homered in the 6th. Zeke Duran came home on doubled and came home on 2 wild pitches in the 8th. And then in the 9th, Wyatt Langford hit a 2-run homer. Rocker made it into the 6th, was an out away from completing 6 innings. It was a pretty staggering fight early on. He was staggered but never went down. Maybe he took a standing 8 at one point. But his work over the first 3 innings was nothing compared to Jose Urquidy for the White Sox. The Rangers made him throw 93 pitches in 3 innings. That's a massive number. They said on the broadcast afterward it was last done in the majors by Kohei Arihara. We remember him in 2022. I didn't think it was that many. I remember Arihara having an outing like that. I didn't realize he'd gone to 93. I thought it was 89, but whatever. It's a huge number. If Urquidy had been a horse, they would have taken him outside and shot him. I mean, just unbelievable and a good job by the Rangers to work him, get him out of the game, get into the bullpen. Always good to get into the bullpen early in a game. Rangers didn't need to go to their bullpen early on. Good relief work by Jordan Montgomery, 2 scoreless innings to end the victory. Robbie Alstrom was solid and immediately following Rocker. So great win, moved the Rangers into first place by a half game because the Astros didn't play. It did not last. White Sox 11, Rangers 7 yesterday. Jacob deGrom, in his words, was terrible. Terrible performance, terrible at everything. He said it, not me. He said it. But he's told us that too often. That's the second time this month. He said that after the Astros loss on that, what was it? Saturday, on the first, because Evaldi lost the first game, deGrom lost the second game. Chicago got him for 6 runs in the first. 6 runs. No homers. It's a bunch of hits. There's some walks. At one point, I think that deGrom had no idea where the ball was going. It was just, if you looked at the, if you were watching, and then if you were looking at the pitch charts that they do on the game stream, the game day, whatever they call it, all over the place. Just I hadn't seen him do that ever. I've seen him give up big innings, but not like that. 42 pitches in total in the first inning, 10 batters. Yikes. All right. So, and this is coming off maybe his best performance of the season. 6 scoreless, 10 strikeouts, including the 2000th of his career. Afterwards, Skip Schumacher was like, man, that is vintage deGrom. If we can get that, it's going to be great. And they didn't get it. Blake is so over deGrom at this point, just such a huge disappointment. It's consistently come up so small when his team has needed him the most. His team really needed him last week. All right. They needed him last week. Don't forget Wyatt in that first either. Yeah. The feel good about Wyatt's defense after last year has kind of trickled a little bit this year, trickled away a little bit. That's me. I'm not over deGrom. He had a really good year last year, guys. Don't forget that. His first full season back from Tommy John surgery, ERA under 3. He was an all-star. And again, he's come up big a couple times this year. The last start, yes, the game against the Dodgers way back in April to prevent a sweep. There have been others. All right. All right, so 6-0 going to the second. Jake Berger homers, 2 games in a row for him. A couple scoreless innings for deGrom. Then he was charged with 2 runs allowed in the fourth when the relievers didn't bail him out. He hadn't allowed 8 runs in a start since he allowed a career high 9 in 2017. Rangers kept coming. Blake Bryant, he got $185 million and has had 1 good season. He was hurt, right? And the Rangers don't win the World Series in 2023 without Jacob deGrom. He made 6 starts and the Rangers won them all. And if they don't have him, or if they lose, for 1 less start and they lose that game, they're not a playoff team. So they don't win the World Series. I understand. It's a ton of money. I get it. But he's still got another year left on that thing. All right, anyway, Danny Jansen hit a 2-run homer in the 5th. Zeke Duran had an RBI single. That made it 8-4. And the Rangers gave 2 of the runs right back. So it's 10-4 going to the 6th. RBI double for Danny Jansen. 2-run homer for Justin Foscue, 10-7. Got a chance. You got a chance. The White Sox got a homer off of Peyton Gray for an 11-7 edge, and then a little drama in the 9th. Rangers loaded the bases with 2 outs for Cody Freeman. Ground out to second, game over. That's all right. The loss, coupled with the Astros win and a Guardians win, now the Rangers are out of the playoffs. And we got the standings here to prove my point. The Astros, again, 500. 500 is going to win this division. They're a half game ahead of the Rangers. The Mariners are kind of creeping up here. They played well against the Cubs. They've won the first 2 against the Phillies. So don't sleep on them. And then the wild card standings, the Guardians have secured the 3rd spot by a game now. And they're closing in a little bit here on the White Sox. It's still 2.5, or is it 3? Yeah, 2.5. They've won 6 in a row. Here's the deal: if the Guardians catch up to the White Sox, then the Rangers' only path is going to be through the division. So gotta keep an eye on that, because I'm going to guess that the White Sox will finish with a better record than the Rangers. So whoever loses the Central at that point would be the first wild card team, barring a surge by Baltimore or Seattle or, I don't know, Houston or the Rangers. It's still possible, but got to keep an eye on that one. Blake, availability is the best availability. Well, that's the risk. There's risk with every free agent contract. At the time, was it a terrible contract? Probably. Probably. But again, that's the risk you take. And it's not done yet. We'll see what happens next season. Availability is the best availability. You're correct. He made 30 starts last year. He's headed that way this year. It just hasn't been a good year. It's been really, really stinky for him. He is pitching hurt with this triceps thing and the hip thing. He's not making any excuses, though. And I don't know what happened last night. He doesn't know either. He's got to go back and take a look. Okay. Rangers can still win the series tonight. MacKenzie Gore against Sean Burke. We will talk about Gore a lot more here in the next segment. But first, listen to these words from our sponsors on the DLS Rangers podcast. Prize Picks time. I will tell you once again, and it is true, I play it dang near every day. I've already made 2 lineups for today. And if you go to prizepicks.com/DLLS and make a $5 lineup, if that $5 lineup wins, you win $150 in bonus bets instantly. There's a very easy way to do this. You know, your lineup is 2 to 6 players. Make a 2-player lineup. They have what's called goblins, very friendly numbers that you think your player will get more than or less than. And you do that, and voila, you get your 5, you get your 150, and you're in business. Lineups 2 to 6 players, minimum of $1 once you get past this $5 guy, and then it's just fun. You choose more or less than a projected statistical category. It's any sport. PrizePicks.com/DLLS. And along these lines, if you also want to line your pockets, it's the Splash Sports $500,000 Survivor Contest. I've already entered. We all know what Survivor contests are, correct? NFL, the season is fast approaching, really fast approaching. And here's what you do. For each week, you just choose straight up, no points, who you think will win that week. If you survive, you go to the next week and do the same thing. However, the only caveat, you can't use the same team twice. And then when it gets down to the end, even then there will be some games that look like gimmies that you can take and continue to advance. So to sign up, you can scan the QR code, or you can go to allcity.com/survivor. allcity.com/survivor, sponsored by Splash Sports, paid partnership, skill-based contest, not sports betting. Open to U.S. residents 18 and older. All right, guys, we are back, and MacKenzie Gore has been pretty good here of late. I think some of you might still have some PSD, maybe BG2, asking if Gore's going to have a mega leash today. I don't think so. And here's why. We'll talk about the overall numbers first for him on the season. We're going to talk about the prospects. Remember, I'm sure all you guys remember the prospects. MacKenzie Gore. All right. 28th start of the season. 7-9, 4.26 ERA. 145 and 2/3 innings. 160 strikeouts. 52 walks. 1.229 WHIP. I was surprised the WHIP was that low, I'll be honest. Here's some good news. The Rangers have won his last 4 starts and 7 of the past 8. The one loss was 3-0 at Tampa Bay, way back at the end of the month going into the trade deadline. So he didn't pitch poorly. I think he had a 3-run inning, which seems to get him. But it's been okay. And in this stretch, this 8-game stretch, 2-1, 3.22 ERA, 50 strikeouts, 44 and 2/3 innings. More importantly, he's had only 12 walks. All right, so 12 of his 52 walks. 40 of them came in the first 20 or the first 19 starts. That's too many. This is all right. This is an all right number. Also during this stretch, became a father. Hey, to a little girl. Fantastic. He's been, I don't know if you want to say Cal Quantrill's been the Rangers' best starter the last 3 weeks or month. That's fine. Gore's been pretty steady. He's worked deeper into games than he did in the first half. Beginning with that start on the 29th. I mean, he threw seven innings in that game. Then he went 6, 5 1/3, 5 2/3, and 6. So, you can be a little more efficient, get a little bit deeper into games. Back to the question about the leash, I'm thinking the other way. The Rangers have used the guy presumably who is their long man, Jordan Montgomery, the last 2 nights. Tyler Alexander pitched last night. Peyton Gray pitched last night. If Gore can get the Rangers to the 6th, they could go Alstrom, Jacob Junis, assuming he's healthy, and Jake Latz. They could do Jake Latz for a 2-out save if they're in that position because tomorrow is an off day. So there are a couple ways that they can get done without calling up any reserves from the bullpen or anything like that. So I think that the Rangers feel comfortable letting Gore go a little bit just based on what's happened here. It started right before the All-Star break. So he's doing pretty good. You'll take it. You'll take it for sure. So how are the prospects doing? Remember, the Rangers acquired Gore from the Nationals for 5 prospects. Abby Ortiz, Alejandro Rosario, Devin Fitzgerald, Gavin Feen, and Yeremy Cabrera. We just saw Abby Ortiz last week. He was with the Nationals, the first of the group to make the majors. Lots of power. He's shown a hit tool as well once he gets adjusted to the level. And Cody Freeman was saying that Abby is always a little bit sluggish in the first couple months because he needs warm weather, which is not unfamiliar to hear about players from the Caribbean. Abby's from Puerto Rico. He's batting .221 with 5 homers in his first 68 big league at-bats. This season with AAA Rochester, 18 homers and 25 doubles. He's a threat. He's a threat, man. Alejandro Rosario, the right-handed pitcher from the University of Miami. He was a Rangers' 5th-round pick in 2023. His medical odyssey is continuing as he recovers from Tommy John surgery, which he finally had. He should be back sometime next summer. He's never pitched above A-ball. You know, he got promoted at the end of 24 to Frisco, but never pitched. There was some fatigue, so they never let him pitch. Now, 2024 in low A and high A was fantastic. The numbers are really eye-opening. He became a top 100 prospect, but now 2 seasons missed. He's going to miss another half season at least next year. So I'm not sure the Rangers have lost anything just yet on him. Devin Fitzgerald, he was the one that a lot of people at the Rangers were worried about. And he started super fast this season. He had 12 homers in 51 games at high A before getting a bump to double A. And it hasn't gone quite as well for him at double A. 49 games. He's batting .220, only 3 homers, and a .589 OPS. Now, things might be changing, turning around for him. He's batting .293 this month. Okay, Gavin Feen. He was the Rangers' first-round pick last year, 12th overall, shortstop from California. There was a lot of varying opinions on him within the organization, and I think that's what made him available in trade. He has gotten better as the season has played out. He's been at low A, what is it, Fredericksburg or Frederick? One of them. Frederick something. Low A, .242 average, .740 OPS, 10 homers. He missed some time early on in April, but he's been a pretty steady regular since early May. .263 this month, 351 OPS, a little bit higher OPS than his season mark of 335. This is what I found really curious about Gavin Feen. He has not played the infield this season. He has been a center fielder and right fielder. No infield for a guy drafted as a shortstop. There are concerns that he'd be too big, that he'd eventually end up a third. He played a lot of first base on the under-18 U.S. national team because I guess they didn't have a position for him. But again, he was drafted as a shortstop, and he is an outfielder right now. Then the outfielder in the trade at the time was Jeremy Cabrera, who opened the season back at low A. He's in his third A-ball season. He was great, though, to start the year, so he earned a real quick promotion to high A. Overall this season, 255 average with 10 homers and 44 steals. All right. At high A, 219 average, 3 homers, 591 OPS. That OPS is less than half of what he had in low A. His low A OPS was 1.114. Pretty good there. So Gore's numbers again for the season: 7-9, 426, 145 and 2/3 innings. To Blake's point about deGrom's availability, MacKenzie Gore's been available. He's pitched on short rest. He's pitched in a pinch. Remember, Valdi was scratched from a start, maybe May or June, and Gore said, all right, I'll pitch. Moved up a day, boom. Pitched pretty well. And again, this 8-game run here for him has been probably his best 8 games of the season. Okay, so that's not bad, right? I mean, it's ERA's kind of league average right now. He does strike out more than league average. But you don't trade 5 prospects for an average pitcher, right? I think that's kind of what is probably rubbing a lot of people the wrong way when you trade for a guy who was an all-star last year. First half, based on his first half. His second half wasn't very good. He kind of was pitching hurt a little bit. So you're thinking, okay, he's got to be better than this. I think the one thing before we make judgment on this trade, time. You know, the Rangers still have one more year of control with Gore. So hopefully next season there is baseball and they get to, utilize the benefit of that 1 year of control. But also these prospects, it's going to take some time, and again, there are no guarantees. This came up the other day. We were talking about the Cole Hamels trade. I think it was me and a couple, I don't know if it was another reporter. Dave Raymond might have been involved, maybe David Murphy. They made the trade. It was, 5 prospects, I think, also to the Phillies. And, none of them panned out, really. Jorge Alfaro was still in the majors, but he was never the stud catcher that everybody thought he was going to be. There was a pitcher, Jared Eichhoff, who did some things for a couple seasons for the Phillies, was in their rotation. But like Nick Williams, he might have made the majors, I don't know, but he's not here now. That's for sure. I don't think any of them are. So I don't know. You always have to wait. You always have to wait out these trades. Even the Cliff Lee trade. You want to go back to the Cliff Lee trade. And again, 4 or 5 more prospects, some first rounders. Not a lot happened with them. So Justin Smoke was a nice player. He was a pretty steady player. Was he Mark Teixeira 2.0? He was not. So again, you gotta let these things roll out and play out and see how it goes. But Gore, still young, a good guy, likes it here. His child was born here, not in Florida, where I thought it might be where he lives. So DFW videos, excellent information. Alfaro is in Double-A for the Royals, and Eichhoff is a Double-A pitching coach for Miami. That's the kind of news I look for. Alfaro has been around. Yeah, he's from Colombia, and so he's from Panama. So he's played for Panama in the World Baseball Classic before. So anyway, all right, we're going to move on to our next segment. It went so well the other day on Monday. It was a catch-all, a Rangers catch-all. And a little bit of a pun this time with the catch, and we will get to that third segment in a minute after these words on the DLLS Rangers podcast. Let's hear again from our good friends at Game Time. Download the Game Time app. $20 off your first purchase with the code DLLS. Terms apply. The Rangers still on the road. They will be on the road until Sunday. Then they come home Monday to face the A's. And guess what? Game Time will get you into Globe Life Field. Get you through the doors for $7. $6 Tuesday. Wednesday's a matinee. $8 tickets. And then the Rays come to town 7, 10, and 12 to see the best team in the American League. Game Time. You download the app. You call up the game you want to go to. You click that game. And then the seat map pops up. And the seat map has the little numbers, dollar signs, all of that. You click on one of those, and that becomes your view. You see the view from your seat. Easy. And again, it's all in pricing at Game Time. Download the app, $20 off your first purchase. Go DLLS. Shady Rays, our friends, long time. You talk about 2 years ago, our birthday, Shady Rays was there. Use the code DLLS. 50% off 2 pairs of polarized sunglasses. They're durable, they look good, and they are affordable. A lot of bang for your buck, especially considering the return policy. If they get damaged or if you lose them, just let Shady Rays know, and guess what? Boom, you're getting a new pair. They do prescription glasses, as I've told you. You can get glasses that aren't sunglasses, like these beauties. These are not from Shady Rays, but you can get just prescription glasses. Lots of ways to go about this at Shady Rays, and they want to help you save money and to have that peace of mind in case something happens to your glasses. So once again, use the code DLLS50 at ShadyRays.com for 50% off 2 pairs of polarized Shady Rays sunglasses. All right, guys, here we go. We're going to go to segment 3. Kind of a catch-all. It feels good. It feels right. I wanted to see if we would have the same fun chat that we had on Monday, and maybe this becomes a regular thing. Rangers catch-all. I don't know, unless I have something to say. All right, so I did want to talk about the catching situation because it's come up because of Danny Jansen, who before yesterday was not hitting 169. He went 2 for 3 or 2 for 4 last night to raise his average to 169. They were his first hits since coming off the injured list. And Chris Young, in that radio show he did, his weekly radio show on Monday, said, yeah, we kind of rushed the rehab a little bit. Jansen's been out a while. He is more of an offensive threat than Austin Wins. So they rushed him back a little bit. It didn't go well at the plate. Timing will come, and when it does come, what you saw last night is what you can get from Danny Jansen. You can get some power from him when he makes contact. He can hit it hard. And he has, 4 homers this season? So that was his first since coming off the IL. But the guy's got some pop. He's got some pop. Career .409 slugging percentage. So yeah. It hasn't been great this year. There's no question about that. He did make some adjustments while he's on the injured list. He said his posture is different when he's at the plate. And so, if the Rangers are willing to wait, I guess we're going to have to be willing to wait. DFWs know he is Colombian. Talking about another catcher, Jorge Alfaro. I knew it was down there somewhere. Anyway, back to Jansen, and I think it came up. I think it's coming up because it was 0 for 9 on the homestand in the 3 games he played. But also, Logan O'Hoppe was recalled from AAA and made his debut Sunday. So the Rangers now have 3 catchers on the roster, which, back in the day in the National League was a regular thing. Now with the 4-man bench, you generally get more flexibility, and there is a little flexibility here because you do have the ability, as Skip Schumacher did last night and on Sunday, to use multiple catchers in the lineup without having to worry about losing the DH if something were to happen to the other catcher. So, it's not Ohapi last night. Let's say, Jansen stubs his toe and needs the rest of the day off. Elias Diaz was there ready to come in. The Rangers wouldn't have had to lose the DH by putting Ohapi at catcher. So, yes, Missy, they did have 3 catchers in the 2023 postseason, and I think it's because the 2 catchers, Hyman and Garver, were such integral parts of the offense. I don't think that we're there yet with Jansen, Diaz, and Ohapi. I just kind of remember going back to that when the Rangers walked off the D-backs. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't Hedges on deck? I think he was. And I think, anyway, he was the happiest guy in the celebration because he knew he didn't have to bat. Anyway, whatever. Now, next season, Jansen is under contract for next season. That's $7.25 million. That's a lot. Ohapi, arbitration player. So the Rangers have 2 catchers under contractual control for next season. They can go into the offseason completely not have to worry about catcher. Now, do they want to is this who they think Danny Jansen's going to be? Would they try to make a move with him? Try to shed some of the $7 million? Could you re-sign Diaz? Would you re-sign Kyle Higashioka, who is beloved by everybody? Diaz is too. The Rangers right now, their catching situation is pretty solid. I think Higashioka has a chance to play again this season, and Diaz has been solid. Again, guy who pitchers like throwing to, and they like throwing to Jansen. So it's not a terrible situation that some of you might think it can be. It just, you're kind of a little on edge right now when Jansen's in the lineup. Hopefully last night was the start of something, the homer and the double. Hopefully, it's more take a 1 for 4 or a 1 for 3. Take that. Be happy with that. Take a 2 for 8 instead of an 0 for 9, right? Especially if there's a little slug involved in that one. So I think the catching situation is a little bit better than maybe people are fearing at this point. I'm not saying Danny Jansen is Josh Gibson or Johnny Bench, but he's better offensively than he's been this season, as was the case with Corey Seager. Now, you knew Corey Seager was going to come around. Danny Jansen is not Corey Seager, but maybe you afford him the grace to be like, yeah, he can't be that bad. So we'll see how that plays out. I saw some more notes about Evan Carter in the chat. And, Evans hasn't been good. The double was good to see yesterday. Blake, very blunt. Cordua, random fact, Evan Carter's batting .196, the only qualifying Rangers hitter to finish a non-COVID season hitting under 200 was Jim Sundberg, who hit .199 and 75. That kind of goes back to the way the game has changed. But in Sundberg's case, he was such a great defensive player that you probably were willing to wear the tough times on offense. And that's kind of where the Rangers are right now with Carter. However, I'm sure Sundberg was not a platoon player back then. In 75, my wife is calling, unaware that I'm on my podcast. I've only been doing it for 2 years at 1 o'clock. In 75, it was Sundberg's second year in the major leagues. 472 at bats, 155 games played. Hello, that's a pretty stout number. He did not win the Gold Glove that year. He started his string of 6 straight Gold Gloves in 76. So 199, 6 home runs, 9 doubles. Not a great offensive year there for our friend, good friend. I miss him a lot. Miss seeing him at the ballpark, Jim Sundberg. That's pretty good. I'm glad you brought that up, Cordua. Larry, how do our catchers rate in throwing out runners? I don't know. Well, Jansen's got a forearm/elbow issue, so I would wonder about that one a little bit. I don't know enough about Ohapi, to be honest with you. Diaz is probably the best thrower. I think he is the best thrower. Jansen is a really good blocker of balls. Ohapi is being his mechanics are being worked on, and again, as I said the other day, because Skip Schumacher said it the day before, no real idea on how much Ohapi's going to catch. I gotta think he's going to catch at some point, though, right? You want to see what it looks like. Want to see let him get to know these other pitchers. Go from there, I guess. Maybe he can catch some bullpens to get to know him a little bit that way before you put him in a game. But I think he needs to catch. If you think he's going to be a catcher, one of your catchers for not just next season, but a couple other seasons after that, then yeah, he should probably catch this year. Now, maybe the Rangers, if they fall out of contention, maybe that's a possibility. If they fall out of contention, then maybe you do see a lot of Logan Ohapi the final however many games. Maybe you see Evan Carter playing every day because again, it's basically if you're willing to play Ezekiel Duran in center field, you are willing to play a Logan Ohapi at catcher. Cordua, those are the caught percentages. You know, a lot of that is on the starting pitcher. And I know that's always something that I think gets overlooked in the catching statistic. So 34.8% is pretty dadgum good. But I wouldn't be like, oh, God, 17, that's terrible. How many times have they caught Kumar Rocker? That's a fair question to ask. But, yeah, Evan Carter, 196. He's still a positive WAR player because of the defense, 8 homers, 298 on base, a lot of walks in there, 622 OPS. And the month, again, he ended July on such a positive note because he got his average above the Mendoza line. Misty, thank you very much. And it's just tumbled downward. He has had hits in let's say 5 of the last 7 games, somewhere around there. But it needs to be better. And again, you could say, oh, well, it's just those struggles against lefties. It's not just those struggles against lefties. It's against everybody. And to your point about the putrid month, Blake, 154 batting average this month. That is 10 for 65, 4 doubles, 3 RBIs. Only 4 walks, too. 4 walks, 19 strikeouts. The splits, 212 against right-handers this season, 212, and 123 against lefties, 57 at-bats. Still a small sample, but not a small sample, Anything else? Hedges only caught 3 innings in the World Series. Yeah, I think he caught at the end of the blowouts, as I seem to remember. Cordua, we needed to address second base and center field during the offseason. I think when the season ends, and it seems like I've said this recently, whether here or for another appearance on another show, that when the Rangers do their postseason autopsy, second base and center fielder are going to be the positions, right? They've trading Marcus Semien still the right move, but Josh Smith as a replacement was not. And so if you go into next year knowing that Ezekiel Duran is going to play every day, do you want him to play in one position every day? And if you do, is it second base? Is it left field? Can you address center field? Do you decide to cut bait on Evan Carter? Do you make Langford the center fielder and then put Duran in left and sign Luis Ariz to play second base? I don't know. What about Justin Foscue? Justin Foscue can hit right-handers. He's doing a pretty good job against lefties. I think there's a spot for him on the team going forward. Somebody's not giving up on Evan. He's only 23. That's true. And his birthday is this week. He turns 24 this week. He's just got to, if he doesn't want to be a platoon player for the rest of his career, he needs to get on those lefties. And if he can't hit him, if it just turns out he can't hit him, he's got to hit righties better, right? I mean, that's kind of where you're at. It's not a make or break for him because this is the most he's ever played. You know, he hasn't had this many at-bats in his career. This is it for him, a learning season, if you will. Bruce Bochy always talked about that, how Evan's still a young player, the missed developmental time in 24, stuff like that, still a young player, but needs to be a little bit better. And I'm sure he would agree with you. I agree with that. I don't know about Putrid. I don't know if you'd agree with that, Blake, but he needs to be better. Okay, we have reached the final segment on the second-year birthday anniversary Rangers podcast special. Not a special, just a regular show. Just happens to be our birthday. And we're going to talk about the new DieHard stuff. I'm going to try to break that down for you guys and tell you how to do it and all of that. And we'll do that right now on the DLS Rangers podcast. Yeah, so there's a new way to be a diehard. We've redefined how to be a diehard. There are 2 levels to it now. There's the level 1 and then level 2. The first level gets you in for $36, but it's a little bit limited on what you get. You do get all of our written content, and you get to go to the Discord lounge, which is cool. And if that's all you need, perfect. Renew for $36. It's $3 a month. I mean, shoot. Anybody can afford that, even in these terrible times. So, I don't know about terrible. They've been worse historically, but, you know, everybody could use a little extra. And we're trying to help. If you want to be a sports fan but don't want to spend our regular price, which is only $80, we got you a route for $36. Now, the other level 2, I don't know what we're calling it. I'm sure we have a cutesy name for it, DieHard Plus or something like that. That's $80. Okay, so what you're paying now, you get a free T-shirt every year. Free T-shirt every year. Pretty awesome. You also get access to the NFL Draft Guide that's put together for our entire ALLCITY network. There are lots of other perks to go with it. All About Sports Zone, do you get emojis? I don't know. That's a good question. I'll ask about emojis. But the point is that even at $80, it's really cheap, and you get some pretty sweet perks to be a diehard that you don't get at $36. It's probably worth the money, honestly. If you're asking me which one I'm going to do, I'm going to do the 80. That's what I'm doing. So check us out at alldls.com, and if you don't have a membership, get it today. All right, let's do some batting cleanup, because that's how we do how we end every show. AAA Round Rock opened a homestand with a walk-off win over Albuquerque. Alejandro Osuna delivered the goods in the 9th with a game-ending double. So there's your answer to what happened to guys who get brought to town just in case they go back to AAA. Walk-off, 7th walk-off of the season for Round Rock, 3rd this month. They're kind of in the playoff race. They're behind Sugar Land, but a late surge here could get Round Rock into the playoffs, which nobody would have ever believed based on their first half. Here's an interesting note. Before we get to the interesting note, Dalton Pence, 4 scoreless innings, continuing his really good season. Here's the interesting note. Cam Cauley was caught stealing. For the first time this season, he was successful in his first 34 stolen base attempts. So that's really good. All right, yeah, Frisco hit the road, and they got run over by Northwest Arkansas up in Springdale, Arkansas. Which what is that? That's the home of Walmart, right? Anyway, 12-4. Not a lot of good happened, as you might imagine. Dylan Dreiling did get a hit, so he's up to a Texas League high 17-game hitting streak. And Yason Morabel, good old Yason, 7-game hitting streak. He's done really, really well since he was promoted from high A. Good job, Yason. Speaking of high A, Hub City, they lost 4-3 last night. A Of the 3 runs, 2 were driven in by Maxon Martin, who hit 2 homers. He's batting .235 this season, which is down from last year, but he has a career-high 19 home runs. He was the 11th rounder in 2023, a prep player. I think he had committed to Oregon, if I'm not mistaken, down there. He lives in southeast Washington. It's almost in Oregon. It's pretty close to Pendleton, Oregon, where they have that big rodeo every year. Anyway, I think it's a good season for him. Ishmael Agreda, his up and down season continued with an up, 2 runs in 6 innings, no decision. A.J. Russell starts tonight for Hub City. Okay, let's go down to Low A. Low A split a doubleheader with Wilson, no relation. In the first game, Daniel Keeney had a deGrom-like performance, got 1 out and gave up 6 runs before they pulled the plug on him. He's actually been pretty good this summer. It was a 12-4 loss. Josh Owens had 2 hits. He's batting .667. It's only in a very small amount of at-bats, but doing pretty good with them. The 4 runs came courtesy of a Curly Martha grand slam. Yeah, not bad. In the nightcap, Sungjoon Kim had 2 RBIs and his first Low A double, so that's exciting for him. We're down to like less than 3 weeks to go in the minor league seasons. It looks like Hickory's going to the playoffs, and Frisco has secured a playoff spot. And again, Round Rock, hey, let's watch out for them. AL West news, the Astros, their ongoing management saga. The Astros told Joe Espada, the manager, that he will remain in his job for at least the rest of the season. No guarantees beyond that. You know, he's been around a long time. He's been a coach on that staff forever. A couple managers, I think he survived. He was the bench coach for Dusty Baker, who retired after 22, and so Espada stepped in 23, won the division that year, over the Rangers. So won it the next year, didn't win it last year, but in first place right now. I don't know why you wouldn't want to keep him around. I don't know. All right. One thing I did notice, Jim Crane, who is the owner and is now with the GM fired, he's overseeing baseball operations the rest of the season. He gave 10 minutes to the media. Man, imagine that. An owner of a baseball team in Texas talking to the media. What a novel, stinking idea. Anyway, old friend alert, and this was mentioned right off the top. Austin Wynns agreed to a minor league deal with the Cubs. The Rangers had DFA'd the catcher about 10 days ago, and he cleared and he took free agency instead of an outright assignment, and is now, I'm presume he's going to Iowa. All right. Another old friend alert and another DFA for Jonathan Ornelas, this time by the Brewers. He has gotten around over the last 30 days. He was in the Yankees organization. Then he went to the A's, went to their major league club, got DFA'd. And he went to the Brewers, played a couple ball games, and now got DFA'd. All About Sports Zone is calling Jim Crane the Jerry Jones of the MLB. He has to have his hands in everything. I like an owner who is hands off but who has opinions. That's why everybody in the media seemed to like Tom Hicks. Okay, injury news. The Giants in the last 2 or 3 days have had 3 elbow injuries. The biggest one is to starting shortstop Willie Adames, but it's his non-throwing arm. So he's right-handed. It's his left arm. And he might need surgery. He has a UCL tear. He did it diving into home plate, I think it was. He signed a huge contract, 8 years and $180 million, something massive. So no word yet on if he has to have surgery. He could probably have surgery and be back by the start. If he can have surgery after the season and be back for the start of the regular season, even if it starts on time, lockout or no, he could probably get all the way back since it's his non-throwing arm. Carson Wisenhunt, the left-handed pitcher who pitched against the Rangers earlier this month, he has a UCL tear. I can't imagine him not having surgery. That's kind of a stinker for them. And then old friend Adrian Hauser, He left his outing yesterday shaking his elbow after an inning and 2/3. I didn't realize this. He had signed a 2-year, $22 million contract in the offseason. Good for him. He's a real nice guy. I wish he had made the Rangers roster in some capacity. Last season, he's from Oklahoma. Dad's a big Rangers fan. That would have been good to see. Alas, he did not. The Rangers, where did he go? He went to the White Sox, right? And was really good, then got traded. He was so good he got traded at the trade deadline to the Rays. So how's that for a comeback? Pretty good. Speaking of the Rays, Austin Slater, the outfielder who's been a 4A guy for a while, he opted out of his deal with the Rays and is a free agent. Here's a new old friend alert that came just after the show started today, actually within the last 15 minutes. The Braves have claimed right-hander Ricky Vanasco off of waivers from the Tigers. I didn't realize that Ricky had been DFA'd, and optioned him to AAA Gwinnett. All right. I like that Ricky Vanasco. He was a good guy who, again, never pitched for the Rangers, had Tommy John surgery. It was this hot prospect, blew out, was coming back, had to be put on the 40-man for Rule 5 purposes, and then just never got here, unfortunately. Another good kid, Florida man. I think from around the same area as Caden Scarborough, in fact. Maybe a little further south? I don't remember. But a real small town in Florida on the western side. If you split the state in half, he's more on the western side. So anyway, that's it for the baseball news. Those standings, again, they do change every day. All standings change every day, but they change at the top where the Rangers are concerned, and it has been happening. Happened yesterday. The Guardians last year had that great run at the end to win the division and knock off the Tigers. It seems like this is their time of year. They've won 6 in a row. They did some stuff at the trade deadline with their pitching staff, so they seem to have a little magic late season pixie dust that works out for them. So keep an eye on them. And again, if they overtake the White Sox, but the White Sox are still 4 or 5 games above 500, that makes them a wild card team, which means the Rangers will have to win the division. And if it's I'm assuming that the Mariners are going to win the tiebreaker over the Rangers too. So the Rangers will have to beat off boy, did I say that? Have to fend off. They could do that too. Hey, whatever these days. Fend off the second place team by at least a game. They'll have to win the division by a game. No tying for the division lead. And if, they can do it. It could go the other way too. Who knows? But it would be nice if they had this nice if they could put together another 6-game heater like they did at the end of June to kind of bring things back to where they are now. Have a little 6-gamer and win 6 in a row. Maybe the Astros can lose a couple in there, and maybe the Mariners can lose a couple in there. Build a little cushion. It seems like it could happen like that, but it's felt like that for the entire season. 133 games worth now. We're down to 29 games. We're inside of 30 games. Tonight, the Rangers finished their series against the White Sox. MacKenzie Gore, as we talked about, against Sean Burke, who's a pretty good pitcher this year. 3.26 ERA, more strikeouts than innings pitched. Going to be tough on the Rangers, but they handled a right-hander pretty well. The other night, Jose Urquidy, I would put him a couple notches below Burke at this point. And then, off day Thursday. Then the 3-gamer against the Brewers at Milwaukee. Just a short little drive from Chicago. I don't know if they'll fly or if they'll bus. I would think they might bus. The game will get over. There won't be any traffic. Just take a couple hours. Be less of a pain in the butt than going to the airport. Their plane can fly up there anytime. Plane could fly up there Sunday morning and get them if it's stationed in Chicago. I don't know. I'm always curious about those things. I would bus. If I'm them, I'm busing. If I was there covering very clearly I would drive. Jake Latz said that he's gonna. This is pretty funny. You know, he's from Illinois. He has family at the games. May have seen him posing with pictures Monday. Anyway, he said he's going to hang around for the off day, hang out with some family and friends, and then he said, "Yeah, I'm either going to Uber or take a bus." I'd like to see Major League All-Star Jacob Latz on a Greyhound to Milwaukee today or tomorrow. Okay, we won't be back until Friday at 1 p.m., where we will preview the Brewers series, tie a little bow around this White Sox series. Hopefully it's a red bow, not a black bow. And, yeah, we'll do it all Friday on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.